From high-tech to old school, corporate to mom and pop, Chelmsford, Mass. Has a thriving business community. And every month, the Chelmsford Business Association visits 2 local businesses. We learn what makes each one successful, what makes it unique, and what makes it an integral part of the town we love. So let's get down to business with the Chelmsford Business Association. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Chelmsford Business Association. I'm your host, Bill Martin, along with Paul Aronian. We're with John Harrington here at the holiday party. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you, Bill.
Another great night. It's filling up fast.
It is. It's a great crowd, more than last year. And we have some entertainment. We have John Mansfield, and we have a magician here tonight.
Mr. Brulette.
Yes.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he is.
Absolutely amazing, yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah, he is a good guy. Funny guy and really a very good magician. Yeah. Now, it's been kind of a bumpy year and a half, 2 years. Tell us a little bit about...
Well, last year, the wisdom of the majority of the Board of Selectmen hit the business community with a 27% increase in taxes. This was devastating. We didn't see it coming. We felt something would come because we counted the votes. We knew what some of the votes are going to be. However, the classification committee that met all summer long recommended if you do classify the business community, do it in small amounts, not to give a shock value to it.
Sure.
Well, unfortunately, they gave us a shock value. 27% was unheard of. It just was a stab in the back. We were devastated with that, especially, Bill, when they're trying to promote 129 to bring businesses in. It just was mind-boggling what they did. And since then, the person that really was pushing it, Glenn Diggs, a 3-year selectman, he come in, he said he was not for classification, and as soon as he was voted in, he started working, and he switched George Dixon over, which we're very disappointed with George, with his vote, who knows this community. He's a Chelmsford boy.
Sure.
So it was a tough year. It was a tough year for our membership because we did lose members, and we had a lot of members very upset with the association that we
somehow didn't
lost.
come through.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Even though we've been coming through for the last 30 years. So they were upset with us.
Sure.
We did our job. I mean, we were at the hearings, at the meetings. We testified. We had written testimony. We brought in speakers that knew the issue from other communities.
Right.
So we felt very strong. Our presentation was right on point.
Right.
However, it's a political issue as far as they voted for a political reason to do it.
Right.
Not for facts, just, hey, we can do it, and we did it. However, on a lighter side, we were able this year to wind it back at least 5%. So instead of 127%, a 27% increase, we now have a 22% increase. So if we can keep rolling this back, hopefully we'll get back to parity. But it's going to take a number of years.
Sure.
And if we weren't this foolish to think we could knock it all the way back at one shot.
Right.
We would not do that because it wouldn't be fair to the residents.
Right.
You know, just like they didn't care about the business community when they voted it. Some of our members, well, are out of business. Some of the smaller ones.
Yeah, and we're sorry to hear that, but we were happy to hear the other night, and you and I had a chance to talk about it. There does seem to be a little bit of a break in the tension, maybe a bit of a spirit of cooperation and collaboration.
And that has a lot to do definitely with Virginia, the new select woman there, Timmons. And she voted along with the other selectmen, to lower it 5%.
Yeah.
I might add all the selectmen voted for it, but the important votes were there, 3.
Right.
So the other 2 it didn't matter what they voted.
Right.
They were politically smart enough to go along with the 5%.
Right, but there is that cooperation, and that's always a good thing.
Right.
In the holiday season.
Oh, yeah. Is he good or not? Right, the holiday season.
Right.
What about last season?
No,
the
I
season.
know it.
All right.
Yeah. Now this year coming up, I mean, we're kind of like regrouping a little bit. The CBA, we've got some things coming up this year.
Well, we have a new president. Kathy Kelly is stepping down.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Kathy has the flu.
Oh.
So she's not here tonight, so we have to scramble around to do a little changes and so forth.
Right.
But our new president has some good ideas. Again, build membership up and get our numbers back. We did lose some numbers.
Sure.
There was no doubt.
Yeah.
We lost numbers there, but we'll build them back.
Right. And a lot of people, they see this show and, we hear a lot of kind words, about the show and so forth, but the CBA is more than just a television show. It's really a vital organization for the business community. And we've got, over close to 300 members now, right?
Well, that's down somewhat, Bill.
Is it?
Our high mark was 300.
Yeah.
We're hovering around 250 and so forth.
So if you're watching the show, get your application in.
Well, the bills are going out again this year.
Right.
We did lose some businesses. Some did close, there was no doubt. And some moved out of Chelmsford.
Right.
Some that could.
Right.
So.
Sure. Yeah. Well, John, thanks so much for taking some time with us. It's another great night. Congratulations once again.
And the weather's with us.
It is indeed, yeah. John Harrington, thank you. Well, we're here with Tom Boucher. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, and now we heard a little bit of news. There's a bit of a buzz going around here tonight. Would you like to tell us what's going on?
Well, we have a new slate of board of directors. I am the incoming president. And so we're off, just going to start the year fresh with a lot of new faces.
Yeah, well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Kathy Kelly couldn't be here tonight.
Unfortunately, that's right.
But I know she sends along her best wishes.
Yeah, she's a great gal.
Yeah. Now tell us a little bit about the board and about the process and what we have to look forward to in 2020 coming up there.
Well, as you know, our primary goal or function is to promote fair taxation. I think every time we see each other, we talk about it.
Right.
So our number one goal this year is going to be to roll back the split real estate rate.
Yeah.
At least a little bit. We're not expecting it to go back to a flat rate, but this past select board meeting, the select board unanimously agreed to roll back the rate by 5%.
Yeah.
So we went from 27 to 22%, and we're hoping we can have it roll back at least another 5% for next year.
Yeah, and that was nice to see. John Harrington was just on a few moments ago, and he touched on that. And as you can imagine.
Yep, sure.
Yeah, and it was good to see that seems like the board and maybe the CBA kind of working together a little bit to get that down a little more.
Yeah, and I'm also on the Economic Development Commission.
Yeah.
The EDC is working hard towards bringing new businesses into town. Obviously, the more of a commercial base we have, the less pressure there is on residents to foot the bill for taxation.
Right.
So, that's kind of the long-term goal.
Right.
And there's a lot of things in place for that to happen. It's just going to take some time.
Right. And like one of the things so many people talk about is that 129 area. That is an absolute gold mine and such a bane of our existence as well.
Yes, it is, yeah.
It's hard to get that stuff built for some reason.
Well, it was developed back in the 80s. It was a great project back in the 80s. The buildings now aren't functioning for today's economy, so they need to be redeveloped. It's a huge cost to do that. They're beautiful buildings. There needs to be some significant investment. There's some things that are going to start happening over there that are going to hopefully spark more reinvestment.
Okay.
So we're going to wait and see there, but that's our goal, the EDC's goal, the town's goal, to see that area become something special.
Right, and now the EDC, that's Lisa?
Yep, Lisa Maroney.
Lisa Maroney, yeah, she's the head of that, or the new
she's the business
liaison.
Development person for the town,
Yeah, and there's several other members on that board,
correct.
Other CBA members as well?
There's Peter McAllister and myself. Actually, Donald Van Dyne was just voted as a member of the CBA's board recently, and he is chairing that commission.
Oh, terrific.
And what's interesting about the EDC is, we're all about promoting business and promoting a fair tax rate in that group as well. It's a group of 7 made up of 5 residents that have no business connections or ties whatsoever to the town. So, it's not a business versus resident kind of fight. It's,
right.
Let's do what's right for the town in the long term.
Right. Well, that feels like it's a good balance then, a good balance on the board.
Definitely is.
One of the things John mentioned is as much as we want to take that 27% down to 22 and then even further, we have to be careful that we're not sticking to the residents. John had mentioned that. That it would be too much of a shock on that side.
Yeah, well, so if you go back a year, rewind to a year when the select board decided to shock the businesses with the 27% increase.
Right.
That wasn't the right thing to do either.
No, indeed.
So the commission, the 2018 Tax Classification Committee, which I was a part of, wrote a report that strongly recommended if we choose to go down this road that we do it gradually, and 3 of the select board members chose not to take that advice.
Right, yeah. But hopefully, we have a spirit of cooperation now and collaboration.
I think so. Yep, I think
get
so.
That moved in the right area.
We're going in the right direction anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you certainly have your work cut out for you. Your first year as president. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed. Of course. We're here with Paul Cohen, town manager. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Great, thanks for having me.
Of course, and another year, 2020 around the corner. We got a lot of great things to look forward to here in town, I know.
Yeah, it's hard to believe we're heading the 3rd decade of the 21st century. Time just goes by so fast, and but it's really an exciting time for the town. Some new challenges coming up in the year ahead. I think people will see the redevelopment of the center. There's talk about doing the Oddfellows building behind Santander Bank, the Fisk House, that area. So that's really an exciting project that I think everybody's looking for in the upcoming year.
And I think that having the residential factor in the center is really going to be a very positive influence. I'm convinced of that. I think that when you see like downtown Newburyport or something, where you see the homes and the businesses right there together, it has a certain feel to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are walking around. There's already obviously residents already in the grist mill behind Brickhouse Pizza.
Right.
And a lot of them are long-term residents.
Right.
And so therefore they're familiar with the town. They've downsized, and they want the ability to go walk over to grab a bite to eat or go to CVS and so forth. So you're right, it really does bring. And then there's a new restaurant opening where the Friendlies is too.
Yes, the pizza, gourmet pizza.
Max and Leo's.
Right.
And they're going to be open in a matter of a couple of weeks. So there's really now in the center, there's a great collection of restaurants and facilities to go to. From Mexican to pizza to Andiamo's to fish bones.
And the new Greek place too.
Right
there.
Yeah. And again, there'll be one at the old at the old bank building, which is the Oddfellows building.
Right.
Which will be probably construction this coming summer.
That'll be terrific. And I'll tell you, at Town Hall, a couple of new faces, new positions. Lisa
Maroney,
the
business development director,
and Jen Melanson.
Yeah, she's our community services coordinator.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Jen Melanson and some of the other folks about the age-friendly process.
Yeah.
And some really exciting things going on in that department.
It really is. I mean, we have more residents that are seniors than there are school families in town. And so, it's really, Chelmsford is aging, and, fortunately, many want to remain in the community. So we're really trying to figure out how can we best serve those people.
Right, and so many times we talk about aging population, and Deb from the Senior Center had some really good points that it's not a burden. These people, they're a resource.
No, because people are active today.
Right.
When we were younger, we thought somebody in the 60s was old. Remember?
Exactly.
Like, they've all slowed down.
Yeah.
Now you got people who are active 70s and their 80s.
Yeah.
Who are some are still working, but they're very active and vibrant. So it's really a question of how can we best serve them so they can continue to have productive and enjoyable lives in the town.
Right, exactly. And then to have Jen Melanson in there with all the new things that she's bringing to the table.
How are we serving those who may be falling through the cracks or need extra care and so forth? And not only the people themselves, but the people who care for those people.
Right.
Because right now you have people caring for their parents, or and so it's really a way of how can we make sure that the support network is there to make that possible? Because you really want to keep people in the community, but also keep families together and provide the support that they can get.
Yeah, it's a dynamic time to running a town and a city.
Yeah.
It's not a
it's a fun time.
It's not an idle job. That's for sure.
No, not at all. And
Yeah, and I got to tell you, having, gone into the town hall for any number of things, the staff and the people there that represent the town of Chelmsford at the town hall, just a first-rate bunch of people. I know you got to be really proud of them.
Yeah, we're really fortunate. Many of them are town residents, who grew up and raised in the town, and we're just very blessed to have people who care, and it really spreads through the town. The water district they speak highly of as well. As you know.
Well, thank you for that.
And all the way from DPW, water, sewer, library, senior centers, we noted, police, fire, schools.
Right.
We're really well served.
And a newer situation in town, and it kind of crosses paths with the CBA, is the stormwater situation that we're doing. I mean, we had a chance the other night at the 110 Grill to talk about the stormwater situation.
Yeah. I mean, obviously people don't like it because it's the new charge, but the bottom line is, it really is in terms of you've got a generation now who are really conscious and aware of what's going on with the environment in terms of clean water, keeping water in the watersheds, climate control and so forth. And really, this is a way of making sure that we're doing the best we can. No different than what you do in terms of purity of drinking water,
right?
And also, what we do with the sewer system and so forth. It's a question of what are we doing with the drainage that runs off the roads,
right,
and so forth, to make sure that again that we're really preserving things for the generations that come after us.
Right. When you look at all the hot top and everything, the raindrop that falls used to go into the ground.
Yep.
Now it gets carried a mile and a half away.
Exactly.
It's just upsetting the whole thing. So I'll tell you, it's great to see that we're on top of it. We're out in front of it. When the state came out with those requirements, there was no hiding from it. We jumped right out there, and I think we're doing a great job. Paul Cohen, congratulations.
Great. Thank you. Thanks
Happy
for having
New
me again.
Year.
Wish
Always.
everybody a great New Year's.
Indeed.
Enjoyable holiday season.
Thank you so much.
Director, Mr. John Harrington, please.
Thank you, John. On behalf of the association, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. It has been a tough year for the association. I think all of you know the taxes kind of really put a damper on us for this past year. However, in a lighter note, we were able to start to move the tax rate down. The recent Board of Selectmen's vote was to bring it back at least 5%. Instead of 27% increase in the business community, now it's 22%. And so I want to thank the selectmen for seeing the problems with 27, and hopefully we can bring it back to parity over a number of years. With that being said, I want to thank the board and certainly our members that worked hard to accomplish this. At this time, I'd like to introduce our new president, Tom Boucher. Tom?
Thank you very much. Wow, what a crowd tonight, my gosh. Thank you all for coming here to see me. I appreciate it. So John stole a little bit of my thunder, so I'm going to keep my speech very brief. But there's a couple of things that usually happen tonight that are going to happen a little differently because certain people aren't here. One of them being our immediate past president, Kathy Kelly. She's home with the flu. And so we usually wish her well and present her with a plaque for her service. So on behalf of the Board of Directors, I want to just thank Kathy for all of her hard work and dedication. I've got some big shoes to fill, and I hope I can live up to her expectations as well as the board. So thank you, Kathy. And I kind of want to just talk about a little bit about what I want to see come out of the board this year, and also what CBA is going to be doing in terms of goals and expectations. I'm a big numbers guy, I'm a banker, it just kind of comes with the territory. But John talked about the tax classification. That's why we're in existence, right? At the end of the day, CBA is all about fair taxation. The flat rate is fair to everybody. And in fact, you could argue that it's not fair because businesses don't use half of the services that residents use. But we're happy with a flat rate at parity and calling that fair. So we saw the rate go up 27%. It was a big shock to the business community. It rolled back 5% this year. One of my primary goals is to work with other stakeholders in getting that rollback even further. Maybe another 5% for next year. So we're going to continue to fight that battle. But I got to tell you, we need help in fighting that battle. We've seen our membership decline over the years. We're not really 100% certain why. Some people feel like they don't get the bang for their buck with the $150 fee that we charge every year. But we use that fee and the membership as a voice to support our cause. And our voice is greater in numbers. So I ask you to please continue supporting us as a member. And if you know of another business that is not a member, if you're at a cocktail party or a dinner table and you start talking about taxation and someone's not a member, and please encourage them to join. Anybody at the board level can help you with that. We'd really like to see our membership increase this year. So please help us out there. Enough of that. Another change, I guess, in the itinerary tonight is our nominating committee chair, Jim Shannon, couldn't be here. He has something better to do. So he's at the Capitol Grill right now with my bank, enjoying some steak and lobster, etc. Anyways, he usually announces the new slate of officers for this year, so I get the job to do that tonight. So, with that being said, the officers for this year, I'll start off with a one-year term, and there's a few officers, me included as president, Paul Hardy as vice president. Paul, where are you? Please say hello. We continue to get a lot of support from Lynn Marceller as our secretary for another year. Thank you so much, Lynn, for all the hard work. And Mr. Cullen, our treasurer for another year. Thank you so much for your support, Lynn. Greatly appreciate it. We have several directors that have just been voted for 3-year terms. Charlene Parley, who I don't think is here tonight. She's a continuing board member. Jim Shannon, as I just mentioned, had something better to do. Donald Van Dyne is a new board member tonight. Donald, I know you're here someplace. Thank you so much. Wherever you are. Looking forward to working with you. And John Demers was also voted in for a 3-year term. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We have one new director for a 2-year term. That's Michael Smith. Michael, thank you so much. And one more director for a continued 1-year term is Doug Hausler, and Doug is not here tonight. So enough of that. On behalf of the CBA, I want to make a presentation check to Amy Pasaya. Did I get that right, Amy? I'm sorry, I didn't ask earlier. Pasaya, okay. For the Merrimack Valley Food Bank. We've been doing this now for a few years, I think, so it's a kind of a tradition. Decades? Okay, Marcel. Kind of new to this, so. But we appreciate all you do for our community, and thank you for all your hard work. Thank you. All right, enough of that. We're going to break for dinner, and then we'll get started with all the fun activities afterwards. Enjoy your dinner. Thank you. The great raffle prizes that we're going to give away to a lot of lucky people tonight. And you're lucky that I'm not going to be doing that. And normally, Jim Shannon would be doing this, but we all know what Jim's doing tonight. So, Jeff Hardy is going to pretend to be MC in Jim's absence. So, Jeff, come on up. I know you're going to do a great job. We warned you.
You know, we're really blessed to have Tom Boucher coming in as president. He has been so instrumental. And sit down, just sit down. Although today was his first his first board of directors meeting. He got a little saucy. we had to kind of set him straight on a couple things. And I was fortunate enough to remind him of some certain protocols that our friend Dick DeFreitas would always take care of things, and I was proud to carry that tradition on, and I will continue to. One of the things that Tom didn't do this evening was introduce the rest of the board, the executive people, the newbies. Forget the guys who've been here for 20 years, you know, who cares about us? So, you gotta learn to go off script once in a while, my friend. You did the other night and you did fantastic, just saying. So we didn't mention, and she's not here, Anne Marie Rourke, a longtime board member. Our good friend Brian Reedy, who not just the Business Association, but so many boards in town and donates so much time with Paul Center and so much stuff, and I can't say enough about what Brian does for the town. My member of the gifted few of the class of '82, Mr. Rick Romano. And our little Spitfire, who reminds me of me when I was young, Mr. Peter McAllister. Always, oh, you know, we'll have a discussion, and Peter, it's always like, well, we'll be the old staunchy guys, and Peter will go, well, did you think about it this way? And you know what? A lot of times he's very right, so I appreciate that. We've got some folks from the town here, which is fantastic. Our dear friend, Paul and I don't get to climb up on ladders and hang banners like we used to, but Mr. Paul Cohen, Paul works so hard for the town. Another gifted member of the class of '82, Mr. Mike McCall. Mike, our assistant town manager. Gary Persichetti, make sure the DPW is behaving and getting that snow out of the way. You got a long winter in front of you, brother. This is not fun. So we're going to start doing raffle gifts? The most important people, our selectmen. Longtime member, Miss Pat Wojcik. Pat. Dear friend of ours, Mr. Ken LaFabe. Kenny. And I don't want to be remiss, and the other three selectmen, Virginia Crockett-Timmons, Emily Ann Toole, and George Dixon, they all voted to back down the rate on this year. I want to recognize them. We may not always agree with the decisions, but I got to tell you guys, and all of you who serve on committees and stand up, they give their time, they give back, and they put themselves in a position where people are throwing eggs at them all the time. You know what? Even when you don't agree, please be kind. Chelmsford is a family. Let's make sure we keep it that way. So. Yep. And I would be remiss if I did not introduce the longest standing elected town official. In our last 2019 parade marshal, my dad, Mr. Gerald Howdy. We ready to start, Jim, or? Okay. So, as those of you who always come, you know how this goes. Okay. Right. Oh, okay. Did we not enjoy the magical? No, it has nothing to do with that. It's the magician, Mr. Paul Brulé. Was Paul not entertaining? I don't want to forget about Mr. John Mansfield, and hopefully you guys will hang around and dance for him later on. And I don't want to forget about the staff here at Princeton. Kevin Mace always does a great job for us. All the girls and the guys here at the Princeton, and I'm biased because my band Attic plays here, shameless plug, on a regular basis, and they always take very good care of me. And we'll be here next Friday on the 20th, if anybody cares. So, this is... Okay. So, this is the first winner?
Serious gift.
Okay. So, we have our first winner, and I normally would never give her flowers, but they have scratch tickets. Miss Lisa Colangelo at Classic Flowers. Lisa.